Leos often get called attention seekers, but have you ever asked yourself why? It's because their radiant energy draws people in. They are here to shine their light and inspire others to do the same. While they can be very full of themselves, it's exactly that confidence that can make us jealous of a Leo, because secretly we wish we could execute that same level of confidence. Feeling like the whole world has just waited for us to arrive. It's actually a very beautiful energy. And not because we think we are better than others, but because we know our worth and we don't question it. Hello and welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jada. In this series, we're diving into the different zodiac signs as a tool for self-discovery. As I mentioned in the introduction video, we are not just one sign, but we actually have all 12 zodiac signs inside of us. So it's not about identifying which sign you are, but rather how does each sign show up in your life. So if you haven't watched the introduction video, I suggest you do. There are actually two videos or two introductions this time. The first one is a general one, giving you a better idea what the series is about and how we have all 12 zodiac signs inside of us. And the second one, which I think is even more important or helpful, is about explaining how a zodiac sign is composed of, like the modality, the element and the polarity. It will just give you a better understanding on how the zodiac signs can be the same but are still different, especially if you are new to astrology and are not very familiar with the terminology of it. Okay, so let's look at Leo. Leo is a fixed fire sign in a positive polarity. The fixed energy makes Leo very loyal. So once they kind of decided on something or someone, they really dedicate themselves to it. As a fire sign, Leo is very energetic, very playful, and very enthusiastic as well. And the positive energy gives it an outward expression. So the enthusiasm and the excitement that Leo feels inside, it needs to express it outward in one way or another. Whatever vehicle it chooses, it needs to express it physically. The phrase that is associated with Leo is "I will." Since Leo is ruled by the sun, it really represents our own will, our identity, our sense of purpose, and our ability to shine our light. In that sense, it's also a lot about discovering ourselves. In terms of animals, Leo is represented by the lion. The lion has always been considered the king of the jungle, which is actually quite hilarious given the fact that a lion doesn't even live in the jungle, it lives in the savannah, which actually really suits the Leo energy. So it's this sense of self of, oh my god, I'm so important, even though there's no base for it, but they're like so overconfident and so full of themselves in a good and a bad way. Like, as always, there's two sides to it, but they're so full of themselves. They're like, of course I'm the king of the jungle, even though I've never been there. So it's actually really interesting and really inspiring to see that characteristic. However, just like a king, Leo needs people that kind of confirms it back to them. So like a king needs people that recognize him as a king. Leo needs that same energy back, like it needs that recognition. Also, since Leo is represented by the lion, and lion are basically from the cat family, or the feline family, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I want you to think of them as cats as well. Like they really like to be stroked, like the way a cat likes to be stroked, a Leo likes his ego to be stroked, or the way that a cat is always like on a high advantage position. It likes to be somewhere up above. The same way Leo likes to have that advantage point where like people can admire him. So by now you have noticed that Leo has a lot to do with ego. And it's different from Aries. Like Aries is about, I just care about myself. It's like just about oneself. And Leo, it's more about, oh, I care about what other people think of me. It's still about the ego, but it comes from a different perspective. And it also comes from the fact that Leo is the second fire sign. So we have 3 fire signs, and it's said that they represent an evolution. Like the first sign of an element is always where it's only about oneself. The second sign of the element is always about the one-to-one. And the third one is about the collective. So with Leo, we have the second fire sign, which represents this one-on-one interaction. So Leo needs that confirmation from that from the one person or even a group, but it's still a one-on-one connection and not a collective. And they need to be told how amazing they are. They are easily flattered, and it actually also allows them to perform at their best when they get that recognition of how good they are. And as usual, this ego aspect has two sides to it. On one side, they can be very confident because of it, but they can also be very insecure because they constantly need validation. However, if the ego is well developed, they have this overconfident sense of self, as I mentioned with the lion in the jungle. So on the positive side, they can have this sense of naivety to them, where they just believe that they are popular, not caring if they actually are, but they are just so overconfident of themselves. It also means that they are not easily defeated or crushed, even though their ego can be fragile, but they also have this ability to bounce back easily, which really comes from being a fire element in a positive polarity. So yes, they can be a setback, but it's like, you know what, I'm gonna get back out again. This is also why the Leo energy is associated with the leadership energy. At its best, it's a very benevolent, charitable ruler. So even though Leos can be very full of themselves, they can be very warm-hearted and loyal, as mentioned. So if you think about like a lion mother that defends her calves, Leo displays the same energy. It's like once it dedicates himself to something, it's like it's gonna defend that thing or that person at all costs. Also, the interesting thing is that the leadership quality doesn't come so much in execution as it comes in delegation. So Leo has that ability to inspire other people and make them feel great about themselves, and therefore inspire them to take action and see how great they are and see the positive qualities of those people, and therefore delegate them accordingly. So the way Leo can be so full of themselves, they have the ability to inspire others in the same way. And it's that level of faith and trust and enthusiasm that allows them to step into unknown territory. And if you think about it, this is a quality that is very much needed in a leader. It's not the cautious, let's be careful one, but the one who boldly steps into the unknown. And Leo does that with the faith and the confidence that they are amazing and everything is going to work out. Leo also has a tendency for drama. So they are the one, when they tell a story, it's like super dramatic and it can be very entertaining, but it should also be taken with a grain of salt. And again, it comes from their ability to wholeheartedly throw themselves into something. For example, why Sagittarius has a tendency to make things bigger than they actually were, Leo is really about making things more dramatic. So I was almost run over by a car when in fact there was like still 10 meters space before they were even hit by a car, but they make it sound like it was this close before they got run over. So it's really that flair for drama that they have. To wrap it up, Leos are charismatic, confident, generous, dramatic, creative, ambitious, loyal, proud, self-centered, and enthusiastic. Just like with the other videos, I don't want to categorize them into good or bad, for any negative trait has its benefits as much as any positive trait has its challenges. For example, the desire to be recognized can actually be the reason to take action. However, too much of it and we become dependent on other people's opinion of us. So think of any characteristics that you have heard throughout the video and think of them holistically. Like, what's the positive aspect in that characteristic and what's the challenge in it? How can I benefit from it and how do I might trip myself up because of it? So try to see the full picture of each characteristic, and this is what will set you free and feel in power and control again instead of a victim to the characteristic. Because, as I already mentioned it, we have a tendency to demonize ourselves for certain bad characteristics, either because they are socially perceived as bad or because others don't like them and have told us as much. But any negative trait that we have does have a purpose and we do benefit from it in one way or another. Let me share a personal example with you. For me, the Leo energy shows up the most in career, not just with the YouTube channel that I'm doing now, but any other job that I did as well. Especially when I just got out of school and started working. I noticed really quick how much I thrive of other people compliments. When I did something in work related and people were like impressed by it, I could notice how I got a boost, like an ego boost. And actually I think it's like a dangerous thing, especially the fact that I've entered the YouTube world now, or social media in general. And I was like, okay, I'm aware of that part of myself. And I noticed how grateful I am and what a boost it gives me when you get a like or people comment. It really, and I think it goes for any YouTuber or any person that does something, because the Leo energy is like universal. We all have that part of ourselves that we want to be recognized. And for me, it happens to be in career the most, or, you know, being able to do good. So it's really nice to get that confirmation back, but I'm also aware that it's dangerous, especially in social media, because there are gonna be people who simply don't like it. They either don't resonate with me as a person, they do not resonate with the content, or they do not resonate with the opinion. Like, there's a billion things that they might not approve of and that they are going to voice their opinion. So I know that this point will come, and I'm kind of trying to prepare myself for it, knowing that my worth is not determined by other people's opinion. And still I can appreciate when other people like what I do, or appreciate or learn from the things that I share. So it's this very fine balance with the Leo energy. On one side, thriving on that acknowledgement and making sure we don't become dependent from it. But it is part of human nature, the way I see it. It's that we are in relationship with one another and we desire that recognition. So the question for you is, where and how does the Leo energy show up for you? Is it in your intimate relationship? Is it in your family? Is it also in your career? Is it in being the best at something like physical exercise? Like, where do you have that need to be admired and acknowledged? And where do you execute that incredible sense of confidence where people are like, holy crap? Or another thing is, where do you show an extreme level of loyalty? Like, where do you really dedicate yourself to a cause because you are passionate about it? So the passion from Leo is much more like coming from enthusiasm and not so much from devotion. So it's like, oh my god, this is it, this is what I decided to do, this is what I love doing, and it's really this high energy vibe. Or where do you display this strong sense of loyalty where you're very defensive of whatever you have dedicated yourself to, like a Lions Club mother, for example? So let me know how the Leo energy shows up in your life. I would love to know, the good and the bad. It's always very fascinating to see the whole spectrum. And also make sure to check out the other zodiac sign videos so you get a fuller picture of yourself and discover different parts about yourself. This is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next one.